to the cloud.
Hello and welcome to the Shall We Football podcast, where on this podcast we talk football and only football. With me, AJ and Colt, and that shadowy figure with his video not on is AJ's dad. Call him AJ's
Mike.
dad.
AJ's
Throughout
dad.
the course of today's episode. This is a gratuitous overreaction. The Shall We Football 2021 NFL Draft Review, Season 2, Episode 12. Coming up this week, we do have AJ's dad to help us process the events that were from Thursday through Saturday. Next week, we'll have a very special guest as well, Christian Williams, co-host of the Devi Royale. Devi?
Devi.
I don't know. Devi,
Me think.
as in Bevy. Heavy Chevy, joining us to break down the 2021 draft winners and losers, and also the illustrious quarterback class that is, was, and shall be. You can find him at C Williams NFL on Twitter. Once again, that's at C Williams NFL on Twitter. AJ's dad, do you have a Twitter that we can promote?
No.
He does not. Then again, the pronunciation game coming up in a little bit.
Yeah, he does. It's
With
at
AJ's
I can't find my keys.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I like that. AJ, what are the rules for this week's podcast?
Okay, I'd like to have a word with you guys. I want everyone to remain calm throughout the analysis. The things I want us to keep in mind as we go through this. We are less than a week removed from the draft. Less than a week. It's just the off season. No games have been played yet. And I want to keep this thoughtful, civil, and most importantly, I want to keep it professional. Are we all understood here?
To the T.
Yeah.
Rules.
Yeah. As long as we're all understood, let's begin.
We're going to begin reacting.
No!
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 Boys.
My boy.
Why?
Boys.
my God!
Just that was a good start, fellas. Good start. AJ and AJ's dad are our Steelers fans. They're from the Pittsburgh area. And you can see from AJ's outrage and Mike's lack of video that they love this pick at 24 by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first round. 23, excuse me. Najee Harris, Alabama running back, headed to the Steel City, the land of yellow bridges, and the trolley that takes you up the side of the mountain. Boys, how are we feeling about Najee Harris, future Hall of Famer for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Got to have another statue in the airport.
First off, I want you all, I'm not very good at picking draft choices, and I just took one shot in my entire career, and that was Steelers picking up Najee.
Yep.
And so I am very excited about him joining our team. Very excited. And
See, Mike is legitimately excited.
Huh?
You're legitimately excited.
Absolutely, I am. He's going to be famous by the time he's done with the Steelers.
Legitimately excited, just like when he figures out how to turn his screen around during FaceTime.
AJ is at the bottom of his screen right now because his framing is terrible.
It is.
A lot of
Am
headspace.
I really in the dark?
Yeah. You have
Your
no
video is not on. Your video is not on. I don't want to get distracted. I liken this to taking a 1990 Geo and shoving a V8 Hemi into it, also known as hanging a chandelier in a haunted house. There is nobody to block for Najee Harris. Nobody. And Kendrick Green, their third round pick, is actually a really good player, a late riser in the draft process. But unless Pat Freiermuth adds another 50 pounds and moves to offensive tackle, we're in trouble.
They're going to bulk him up there with a lot of Permane Brothers sandwiches.
Sandwiches.
Yeah.
Well,
A lot of coleslaw and fries.
I will share a little history with you young folks. When I was at that shining university in South Bend, Indiana, I was stuck watching the Bears for 4 years.
Yikes, buddy.
Yeah.
Was that the Sid Luckman days?
Well, it was close to that, but that I'll do the comedy on this area, okay, right now. All right. So, anyways, we had Noah Jackson, who could not see his feet. He was the pulling guard.
Yes.
And they had an offensive line. It was horrible. I watched Walter Payton make more moves to get back to the line of scrimmage than any runners made in the entire history. Now, I don't see that being Najee's problem.
Najee Harris, the next Walter Payton.
I think he's going to
You
be
heard it here.
fine. We're going to be a serviceable front line, serviceable. But because Big Ben, although a statue, he doesn't fall down real well.
No, he does not.
And he's got lots of guys to throw the ball to quickly.
Yeah.
I think Najee is going to do well. I'm also going to take the other side of the story that the Steelers got hurt when they lost Mike Munchak as their offensive lineman. That's the downfall.
Yeah, they certainly did. I
That
don't know if everyone saw this, but Alejandro Villanueva went ahead and sided with the Ravens.
I was just getting ready to say,
Damn.
is that insult to injury like on top of all this Villanueva?
No, because Villanueva stunk last year.
He was
he
not
did,
great.
but just the fact it's a division rival. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're like, yeah, Ravens, go ahead and take him. There's a reason we
You're
didn't
gonna have
sign
him.
him in free agency. Okay, Najee Harris. Here is my take on Najee Harris. Phenomenal kid. A guy that drove 10 hours because his flight was canceled or delayed
I remember
in the
that.
Houston area to support his teammate at his pro day. Najee Harris, the same kid who held a draft party at the homeless shelter in which he spent time as a kid,
Wow.
to be an inspiration to those kids to say, if you keep working hard, you can someday make it in the NFL, giving false hope to the youth because he's a freak. A great kid, phenomenal human being. Pittsburgh's going to love this guy eventually. I think he's a really good player. He's obviously an upgrade from who they had in the backfield. All respect to James Conner, cancer survivor. Najee Harris is way better.
Mm-hmm.
So he will have a modicum of success behind zero offensive line whatsoever. But if he had gone early second round, it wouldn't be much better because teams are picking in the early second round because they were picking in the early first round, because they stunk. So
I agree with you. I think he's going to fit well in Pittsburgh with personality.
I think so too.
Based on what we've read, I think he would fit well just about anywhere. And I think to me, he was the most impressive back in college football. I'd say
Henry probably.
Yeah,
he's damn good. By the time the Steelers get a line for him, he might be burnt out.
I hope they don't overuse him. I hope he doesn't come out like Trent Richardson and have too many carries on those tires and already be worn out before they even gets a chance to wear black.
Yeah, this is not a question of talent. Like it's positional. Not only is it positional value, which is low here, but the fact that they have no offensive line to speak of, or one that we're not familiar with. Zach Banner has been declared the left tackle by Mike Tomlin. We have no idea how that's going to work out, and they're missing many longtime pieces. And Colt will attest to what the fantasy implications here, but in terms of value for the Steelers, it's a great player. I kind of feel bad for the guy a little bit.
There he is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I now launched my life in the 21st
All
century.
right.
Oh,
Yes.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I told you guys he was beautiful.
Yeah, I got a face
Awesome.
for radio. So anyways, the other thing is going what you said, Ryan, the Steelers have a habit of using and abusing their running backs.
Oh yeah.
Le'Veon Bell left the Steelers worn out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He left the Steelers worn out. Barry Foster, you go back for a lot of running backs. They don't leave the field. Now, the only one that did was Jerome, and Jerome did his own battering of his body by just the way he played football. But, I think Najee's got a lot more elusiveness, even though he's a big lad. He's got a lot more elusiveness. And I think the nice thing about him is you're not gonna know what he's gonna do in that backfield. He actually can go out and get a pass.
He can. We're talking about physically, even in high school, a top 5 recruit overall. So that said, Colt, tell us about the fantasy. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but from your perspective, fantasy implications.
Oh, I'm excited from a fantasy perspective. He'll probably be a second, third, fourth round pick. I'd say third or fourth, but it depends on how much the hype grows in the offseason. Last year, I took Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round. That was a big mistake.
That was not
situation. Yeah. And, Ryan took Kamara right behind me. So, that was a huge mistake.
He's the only reason I made the playoffs.
However, Najee.
Well, the reason Colt is our fantasy guru is because you made the playoffs, but he won.
He won, yeah.
Well, that had a little bit to do with luck, but a lot of hard work.
Sure, buddy.
And
a lot of anguish. A lot of anguish. A lot of excitement. Yeah.
Colt,
hey.
You know what we say on the golf
What's
course? Look who you're playing.
Yeah.
Wasn't a lot of competition. The bar wasn't high for you.
Know your audience. Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations on still whipping their ass.
Yeah. It's like when Mike comes down here, he is going to run me off the golf course.
Oh, man. But so it's a volume game, right? We look at opportunity and we look at talent, basically. Like those are two key things for fantasy production. He's going to slot in to the opportunity. He's going to get the touches. He's a good receiving back as well. So PPR, that's a nice nod. I think he has enough talent to create a little bit on his own with the lack of O-line. I mean,
good.
I'm willing to take a shot on him. I mean, I wouldn't draft him super duper early, but I mean, there's not a ton of running backs in the NFL that are bell cow status. And with the Steelers taking him in the first round, that screams bell cow to me. And the way Mike Tomlin's history of using running backs.
All right. With that said, are we calm enough to move on?
I think so.
I feel like we have leveled.
I had to change my pants.
I had to do that earlier today.
A couple times.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Me.
Damn it.
I'm so excited for this.
Why do the Bears hate drafting in the first round? Why do they give out their first round draft picks like Halloween candy?
What do they think they are, the Rams?
And why do quarterbacks die in Chicago?
Guys,
why do quarterbacks die in Chicago?
Yeah, I know. But if you guys haven't been to Chicago recently, I think this is actually Marshall Fields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently they're about to move to the racetrack down the road.
Look, I was on the phone with my roommate from college, and he's in Chicago Bear fan forever. And he damn near cried because they pulled this guy out of the hat.
This is the best pick in the first round right here.
I agree.
At 11.
That's 11. The thing. Is
Absolutely.
like in terms of what the Bears did, what the Bears GM did, it's great. Now he's got to pass it down to this head coach.
Yep.
Who is going to run him into the turf? He's going to Najee Harris him, Le'Veon Bell him.
Yeah. The best pick in the first round, I think, followed closely by Elijah Vera Tucker to the Jets at 14. This was a phenomenal move by the Bears front office. They had a fantastic draft for the first time in their tenure. They have traditionally stunk.
Exactly.
I think also for the head coach and the GM, I think their paychecks starting to warm up towards the pink color.
Yeah.
And they come in on a weekly basis. So I think this is like beer muscles because they had to do something bold or they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
they may still get fired.
Yeah. This is definitely their last shot.
Breaking in a new quarterback. This gives this gives Matt Nagy what a year, and
No, it
then
gives him
he's gone.
8 games.
8 games, then he's gone, and now you got another coach coming in. I don't know if Fields is my guy. Why don't we Josh Rosen him?
Oh,
Don't do it.
He's
This
way
is
better
for
than Josh
Justin
Rosen.
Fields. This is catastrophic. It's the end
Yeah.
of days.
yeah.
Wow.
All the pictures that I've seen of him in Chicago, he looks miserable.
Yeah. Oh man,
So I love Justin Fields as a player. I don't know how you guys feel.
I do too.
I mean,
I agree.
he's crazy talented.
I think he's the second best quarterback in this draft.
Well,
I agree.
and I think the other thing he showed in the playoffs was heart. Man, that guy, he got hit so bad.
Absolutely. And then,
It had to hurt his family.
I mean, can we just say that Northwestern team he struggled against, they had 2
Really
first-round
good.
draft picks.
Really good.
Yeah, they had 2 first-round draft picks, one being a cornerback. That team is really good.
Yep.
That coach is really good.
Patty
Indeed,
Fitzgerald up
and
there
nobody can pry him away from
with
Northwestern.
the smart guys at Northwestern, future journalists of America.
That's where all the smart guys go. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
All 3 of them.
Yeah.
Oh man. Do you think there's any way Andy Dalton starts the season? Are they all in on Fields game one?
Oh, yeah. All in on Fields. Day one.
I would agree. I hope they don't try and pull some.
So with that being the case, Colt, fantasy implications here.
It would take me a few games. I'd take Fields late round as a late round pick, especially in 2 QB leagues. He'd be a great QB too, just with the rushing upside. He's got the cheat code, the Konami.
He is going to get you some touchdowns rushing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, would I be willing to roll the dice and have him as my starter week 1? Probably not. I mean, we'll see how the offseason develops, but he's definitely on the fantasy radar. If for nothing else, his rushing, and he has Allen Robinson.
Who's he going to throw the ball to besides Robinson, who gets 5 yards a catch?
No idea.
Cole Kmet. Your boy.
Cole Kmet. Let's go. All right.
Second year breakout. Here he comes.
He's my boy.
They said that every year at Notre Dame, and he had a pretty damn good last year. But you compare him to the years that Eifert and the guys preceding him. It's partially just the offensive coordinator and the scheme, but he was nowhere near as dominant as some of those other tight ends Notre Dame has had. All right. Are we calm?
I just got a text from the other room that said, "Why are you yelling?"
Exactly, Ryan. That's my point. Can we not yell?
Don't ask questions.
We'll give it a shot.
We'll try.
Oh, God.
Why?
That's just an awful.
No.
What? Are they trying to run him out? Are they trying to get him out of town?
Yep, he's threatening retirement.
Horse shit.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh my God.
This
literally might be the end of days.
Yeah, pretty much.
How do you say goodbye to the NFL's MVP?
I have no idea.
Without
by drafting Eric Stokes at number 29 in the 2021 NFL draft.
And trading up to get Jordan Love at number 26 in the 2020 NFL draft.
And not drafting a receiver in the first round for what, 8 years now?
They haven't drafted an offensive player in 10 years. 9 of 10 years, they have drafted defensive players. That other year, they drafted up in the first round to draft Jordan Love.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I know it's been 10 years, but Dad, they haven't drafted a quarterback or a wide receiver since before I was born, right?
Well, yeah. I mean,
don't worry about the numbers. It's
I'm trying to think.
It's a metaphor, for God's sake.
Here's the thing. The world is all about franchise quarterbacks.
Right.
And since 1994, they've had 2 of them.
Yeah.
And they're not smart enough to figure out that this guy still got more left in the tank than most of the other ones his age.
In this day and age.
He can still run crazy.
Yeah.
So
he's got 5 good years left at least. Give him a contract.
Aaron Rodgers is a great kid.
Great kid. What a guy.
He's a great kid.
Class act.
By the way, Eric Stokes is a really good player.
Yeah.
Forgotten in all this, he's a very, very good player. This was kind of a reach a bit, but
had
a
some
really
medical
good player.
issues. Had a medical problem that they found out at the medical combine in Indianapolis, but still a reach.
I'm also going to say this. I think that we're finding out that Aaron, and I like him. I've always liked him, but he has some family issues.
Oh yeah,
other issues.
Mm-hmm.
He may not be the greatest guy in the locker room.
Yeah.
If he's showing up to the Kentucky Derby with a name tag that says, "Hello, my name is Turd Ferguson," I'm all in.
I'm also in.
Love the humor. Yeah.
All right.
Oh man.
Yeah, but Mike is right. Mike is right. He may not be the most well-loved teammate in that locker room. But does he have to be? He's the MVP.
Yeah.
Well, is that the way Green Bay is telling him?
Yeah, this is a pretty stern message that says we don't care about anything that you think or say.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that's the most brilliant thing to do, but that's what I think they're doing.
He has turned that organization into a bazillion-dollar company.
Mm-hmm.
They should probably find a way to make the most important person in that organization happy.
I know. It's common sense.
Well, you know what? At least they're learning based on a process of elimination.
Including playoff opportunities.
Yeah.
All right, everyone quiet down. Okay. I'll admit that this one was on me. I probably started that overreaction. I promise you guys that on this next one, I will keep quiet. And I can you guys promise me that? Because if I'm gonna put my all into remaining calm, I need to know that we're all gonna be calm.
AJ, you've been lying to me for 30 years. Why do you think you're going to start now?
Let's go then. No!
Oh, no!
Oh, God.
I never liked it. Never liked it.
No.
Oh, that's not how you spell Justin Fields.
Exactly. That should have been the pick. Fields at 3 to the Niners. That should have been the pick.
That font looked like a J. I got excited.
Oh,
I don't know, guys.
And you're going to hear this theme probably a couple times from me. You've got Jimmy G, who's won 28 games out of the 40-some he's played. I don't get when you're in the third position, you get a franchise player. How you spend it on some position, and quite honestly, he's decently filled, if not better filled than most.
Yeah.
Right. He's pretty unproven. That's my concern.
So he reminds me a lot of you quoted the wins. We're Notre Dame fans. He reminds me of Ian Book in terms of his execution.
Jimmy G does.
Jimmy G does. That's a lot of wins. That's what appears to be really good leadership. Jimmy G seems like, outside of his dating life, he seems like a people in San Francisco love him.
Slinging it around over there.
Yeah.
Getting it
in. Both sides of the ball.
But don't you think they need a little bit of help on that defense now they lost everybody?
Yeah.
They've got the skeleton there. They've got the edge covered. They've got a linebacker or two that can threaten the Pro Bowl. They've still got Jason Verrett for as long as they can keep him healthy. They have some decent safety play. They just spent a first-round pick on Javon Kinlaw to shore up the middle. They've got some depth there. The defense is okay. DeForest Buckner was sincerely felt missing from that defense.
He was sincerely felt in Indianapolis too.
Yeah, people felt him left and right. Felt him.
Yeah. So you named a couple positions. I think there are a total of 11 on the defensive side of the football, though.
The last time I checked, that was accurate.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Hey, don't forget, they don't have Bobby Saleh anymore either.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
That is an excellent point. He's manning the ship elsewhere.
I have a thought or two about Mr. Lance. Despite the rumors that he may or may not be humping Colin Cowherd's daughter.
You went there.
For that, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful.
Those rumors.
Who's Colin?
Colin Cowherd?
So he's grateful too.
Yeah.
You should be so lucky.
I'm a huge fan of everything I'm hearing about this kid coming out of North Dakota State. Humble, works hard, student of the game, loves to watch tape, blah-de-blah-de-blah-de. I am not loving that he started 17 games. He's only thrown 330 passes in his entire college career. In his one showcase game against a terrible, god-awful Central Arkansas team that lost by $1 billion to a real football team. He threw his first interception, only threw for 149 yards, had to run the football to win that game. I'm not sure his game translates right now to the NFL. I think Kyle Shanahan may be the best coach for him in professional football, though.
That I agree. And for whatever comparisons are made to the fact that Pat Mahomes didn't have the outrageous heralded college career.
He started a bunch of games.
And you talk about throwing for yards. That man played for Texas Tech.
He threw 40 yards.
And threw it
60
often.
times a game.
Yeah. And that was a bad day.
The Oklahoma game, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, him and Baker Mayfield is one of the most fun football games I'll ever remember watching. It was so much fun.
Yeah. Well, why don't you ask the Philadelphia Eagle fans what they think about quarterbacks in that school?
Yikes.
Yeah, when we were doing mocks and the Eagles were still picking at 6, he's just sitting there as the fourth quarterback. And we're like,
nah, ain't gonna do that.
It makes sense. There's a quarterback available. You're in the top. If you're there, you take your franchise quarterback. Obviously, they traded back, but we looked at that and we were like, none of us could pull the trigger.
Mainly because I love Jalen Hurts.
And he does love Jalen Hurts. You know what? I love Jalen Hurts. I really do. Ryan is relatively familiar with him.
Yeah.
Ryan, are you going to have his baby?
I might, if he lets me.
Wow.
I'll tell Mad.
Yeah, she's going to be devastated.
Well, she's probably already watching.
Yeah, well, I mean, she can hear me from the other room. She yelled at me.
These walls is paper thin.
They're not great.
All right. Okay. Maybe we can drop the facade a bit. I'm going to put forth a little bit of effort. Probably not as much as the other times, but I'm going to put a little. Let's move on. Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Unbelievable. Not surprising. What a reach.
Mayock, you fucking tool. Sorry, Mike.
Oh man. Mike, if you're listening, we love you.
I don't mean that. Thanks for all your years of service to the University of Notre Dame.
Man.
Avid Shall We Football listener, Mike Mayock.
Mike Mayock.
Oh yeah.
Little known fact. So little known that he also isn't aware that he's a huge.
He doesn't know either. Yeah.
One of our biggest fans. He takes our draft advice seriously as well. I had been telling Alex Leatherwood for a while.
Yeah, we were very explicit. We said, Mike, we need you to shop down one aisle and one aisle only. And those are players from Clemson, Ohio State, and Alabama. Don't ask questions, please.
Yep. Just grab them.
You need an offensive tackle, just pick the best one from those.
You know what? I'm afraid I think I know what happened. I think when they got called their names, they thought it was the third round.
Yeah. They've been in Vegas too long. They didn't know.
A little confused.
There are no clocks in those casinos for a reason. They didn't know which clock they were on.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one that has to be explained.
So again, this is actually a really good player. I mean, he led an offensive line at Alabama that was
best line in the country.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
As I read about him today, though, he's a jack of all trades.
He is. Master of none is the biggest caveat to that phrase, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Yes. What I was just thinking.
You
Yeah.
know what? At 17, I'm not a huge fan of the value at guard, but this is around where Zach Martin was had. Quentin Nelson was a little higher, but
He was a top 10 guy. Yeah.
David DeCastro was a little bit later in the first round, but like all pro guards can be had at this point
Sure.
in the first round.
Well, and Alex Leatherwood may end up, when it's all said and done, being an all-pro tackle. He is far from a finished product. His athleticism and his build and his size project extremely well. If he is coached properly, he can be scary good.
That'll probably be for the next coach and next GM to figure out.
I mean, John Gruden's locked up for a long time.
Yeah.
I love those guys.
Mr. Mayock, just don't worry about this one.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't
years
know.
to worry about for very long.
I think in 3 years this won't look like as bad as a pick.
I'm with you 100%. I don't. Talk about gratuitous overreaction. I actually think this guy's really good.
Yeah, it looks like a reach now. In 3, 4, 5 years, I don't think it's going to look like a reach. I think they're going to have to pay that guy a lot of money.
So did Travis Frederick. Whenever the Cowboys took him, it was typical Jones family bullshit and all pro almost immediately. Now he retired early, for probably for the best, but while he was playing, he was an all pro.
Yeah.
Colt fantasy implications. Never mind. We're gonna move on.
Yeah, I mean, if they hadn't have signed Kenyon Drake to couple with Josh Jacobs and give away most of their offensive line, I might have some excitement, but no.
Okay. Try to keep it together. For Pete's sake.
AJ had the tissues ready and the lotion on hand, ready for Devontae Smith.
He did.
I was prepared, and I wasn't upset that there were other people in the room.
Who thought that suit looked good?
Oh,
I
did. That dude that is a guy who was ready to be picked at 6 overall. He knew his name was going to be called. He gave his mom one hug and then said, I'll be back. I got to go.
I'm out.
I got to go hug the commish real quick. I'll be back. Let's go win some titles in Miami.
Well, I hope he does well.
Man, he's so good.
Let's think about the other, not small in stature necessarily, but genuinely small in terms of height. Guys that went early in the first round. Marquis Brown, Tavon Austin.
Yep.
There's not a great track record for tiny dudes.
Nope.
Well, you're under 6 foot.
Yeah, I didn't get drafted in the first round.
Yikes.
I was graded out at a day 2 pick. I was comfortable with that. They told my draft grade was they told me to go back to school forever.
And so you did.
Yeah, so you're still in school.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Still in school.
I don't know if any of you caught his majesty on the football field 2 years ago, but again, this guy is
electric. He is electric. And that's one thing. You bring up a Tavon Austin, you bring up a Marquis Brown. I was very familiar with Tavon Austin's work at West Virginia, and I was firsthand experience to Marquis Brown's work at Oklahoma. Neither one of those dudes are Jalen Waddle. Both of those guys were phenomenal in college. Neither one of those dudes were Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Waddle is every bit of 185 pounds.
Oh yeah. We were talking on draft night, and I remember saying, Devontae Smith took a lot of the shine from that team, and Jalen Waddle's the guy who might as well have opted out in 2020 because people forgot what this kid was because Devontae Smith just took all the touches from him and won the Heisman. Jalen Waddle is that he is that dude.
Yeah, if this guy doesn't immediately make an impact on offense, he's going to bring back the excitement that once was kickoffs and punt return.
Yep. If he can stay healthy.
How do you guys feel from a fantasy perspective? Does this move the needle for you?
Well, I would say that's a question for you, Colt.
True. For me, where I stand, I like it for Tua.
Yeah.
I think the receiving core is, we got to kind of see how things shake out with signing Will Fuller. Preston Williams, is he going to be good to go from his injury? Still got Devontae Parker, Waddle. I think there's a lot of upside for Waddle, but I don't think he's going to make an impact super early. It might take a little time to pan out, but I think it ultimately ups Tua's value. I'd be interested in drafting Tua.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
I think they took a risk with this pick. They were playing with house money.
Yep.
This wasn't their pick to begin with.
Right.
This was the Texans' pick at 3. They traded back to 12 and then up to 6 with the Eagles.
Right.
This is house money pick. If this had been their pick at 6, I strongly believe it would have been Penei Sewell. Strongly believe this was the luxuriest of luxury picks right here.
And then they got Jalen Phillips later in the first round, which is just, I mean, we talk about a pretty damn good draft. If you want a Jalen Waddle, you have a Tyreek Hill on your team now. And you still went ahead and got one of the best, albeit a not great class, but in terms of talent, Jalen Phillips is top shelf.
Couple of first round Jalen's on the board.
Yep, and reuniting Waddle with Tua.
That's almost as good as the Jets taking 2 gentlemen named Michael Carter.
Did they take the cornerback?
They did.
Yeah.
2 rounds later.
Wow.
All right, everyone calm the fuck down. We're moving on.
Okay.
Man. Jamar Chase, wide receiver to the Bengals.
For fuck's sake. Does nobody care about Joe Burrow's knees except Joe Burrow? And you know what? He didn't even care. He was so excited about this.
I thought they made some rules in the players union. The new CBA included rules about saving your quarterbacks' knees and ankles and hips and brain.
I think you're right.
You know what? They still use carrier pigeons in Cincinnati. I think that message is still on its way.
It's because they don't have an indoor practice facility in Cincinnati.
But the challenge, guys, is name one team that goes deep in the playoffs that doesn't have a star wideout.
Fair. Name one team that goes deep into the playoffs that's playing with their backup quarterback, except the Eagles.
So we do have exceptions to that rule.
So here's my question to the Bengals.
You can hang on to that,
and
you're going to need to write Joe Burrow a letter when he's in the hospital.
Here's my question to the Bengals fans out there is do you want Joe Burrow throwing to T. Higgins and those guys out there, or do you want Brandon Allen throwing to Jamar Chase?
That's a good way to put it, man.
I really like
Brandon.
that.
I'm really disappointed. I think Brandon's a great guy.
What did Brandon ever do to us?
Yes, exactly. He's no Drew Luck.
No.
Another avid fan that isn't quite aware of his fandom yet.
Yeah, Colt, have you changed your picture yet?
I actually have not. It's funny you ask.
Oh, this is called Stockholm syndrome.
I've been brainwashed. Yes, I've embraced all that is Drew, that glory, man, and I can't get away from it.
Yikes! That made me throw open my mouth a little.
Maybe I'll seek some outside help for this one.
That made me throw open my mouth a little.
Yeah, you know what, Colt? I want to start with you here, and what are the fantasy implications here?
The fantasy implications are huge. I think huge. This vaults Joe Burrow in the top 10, top 12 discussion for me. Provided he can stay upright and on two legs, not in the hospital receiving flowers and cards. He has a great receiving core. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins in year 2, Tyler Boyd, fantastic slot guy. Joe Mixon, if he stays healthy, he missed the better part of the year last year.
Did I not also catch that those guys picked up a free agent on the O-line too?
They did.
They did.
Riley Reef. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who has been a starter for a long time.
A left tackle on one of the most embarrassing offensive lines in football.
Yeah. He was on a really bad Minnesota Vikings offensive line. So I'm glad you said Tyler Boyd, because I almost called him Taj Boyd, former quarterback for the Clemson Tigers.
Oh, coined founder of Clemsoning.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to take a shot on Chase. I don't know exactly how
that kid's so
crazy.
Good.
Crazy depends on the hype.
He's so good.
And average draft position where we're talking in August. But I am excited to pull the trigger on this young man.
I think this hype train is leaving the station right now, and it's headed downhill full steam. This guy is an incredible player.
Yeah.
Plays way bigger than 6'1.5", and I would know because I'm almost there.
But not quite.
No.
Yeah.
About an inch.
He's what?
Inch
6
to
foot.
go.
He's 6 feet. What? 210.
Yeah, he's a fella.
Thick.
Yeah, he's a thick boy. We don't have enough C's for him.
Ryan, I thought you were talking about AJ.
I'm 6'4", 210, so I can't really talk a whole lot. I'm also getting thick.
That's AJ Green stature.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm proportioned a little differently, but right at AJ Green.
Before we move on, this guy is.
He is
if Trevor Lawrence isn't, the second coming of Andrew Luck, this is maybe the best prospect in the draft. Yeah, him and Kyle Pitts.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Kyle Pitts.
And Kyle Pitts is Megatron reincarnate.
Yeah. Kyle Pitts is a different level. Jamar Chase is right underneath that. He was so much fun to watch on LSU, which I thought was the best college football team I'd ever seen until Alabama this past year.
No.
I love that guy.
How do you fall that far?
To 40.
This is a top 20 pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, props to the Raiders for making a good pick.
Yeah, Mike Mayock. Redemption.
See, that's his first round pick.
That's not what I want to focus on here, gentlemen.
He's dyslexic in his picks.
He fell this far. Yeah, I would believe that though. 43. I mean, sincerely, 43 is 3 times as far as he should have fallen.
Okay, right. I know what did it. He tweaked his back, and in his pro day, he was wearing kinetic tape on his back, and scouts noticed. That's why he fell.
That is a lot.
That's a precipitous fall
to be made for a pick that was maybe 25 picks.
Yeah.
Too much. I mean, this guy, I guess we can say when healthy, is easily top 20. Now the positional value sucks, but Trevon Moehrig is fantastic. Ryan has a little more understanding of him.
We had him mocked in every single mock draft we did in the top 25.
We had him to the Jaguars, as did every single mock draft out there.
He is a long, rangy, fluid, athletic, perfect stereotype of a free safety. He is exactly what you want in center field.
Ryan, that's enough about me. Let's talk about
him. Mike. Oh, how did you know?
Yeah.
I was gonna buy you dinner first, but I wanted to be uncouth.
It doesn't matter how far you shoot from, Dad. It's still 3 points.
That's right.
Even in football.
Shooters shoot, Mike. Shooters shoot.
Amen.
No, he's really good. Every time I watched TCU this year, he jumped off the screen and I could just tell that this kid's going to be special. I like him a lot.
Yeah, for as much shit as we're giving Mike Mayock, he's got 2 day one starters.
Yeah. And the secondary for the Raiders last year was
Not good.
beyond atrocious.
We don't have enough words for how bad it was.
Yeah.
I think this is a pick that says we fucked up on Jonathan Abrams because he doesn't know how to tackle anyone. He can't spell tackle. So we're going to pick a guy who decides to tackle.
Yeah.
And do all the other things.
And then we're going to pick an offensive tackle just because we love tackling.
Who also doesn't That's fine. Dad, close your eyes, count to 20.
I can't
This
get
this is horse shit.
Oh,
Okay.
It is absurd.
This is
absurd.
absolute horse
I'm in
shit.
pain. I'm in pain.
This whole wedding is a sham. It's horse shit.
I'm for Clem.
Go Irish.
Go Irish. Fucking hell.
You
Silver
know,
lining.
so this is what I got to bring up about this draft and maybe a couple before that, but it's killing me to say that the Cleveland Browns have grown up and become a football team.
They are
But they
good,
have.
man.
Yeah, we
On
can.
paper, they are really, really good.
They really have.
It's spooky.
And you take a look at the list of the grading this year, and maybe even in the last year, but this year, all the teams that have been the joke of the NFL are all the top-rated teams in the draft this year.
Yeah.
Things are starting to shift.
They all went out and found themselves competent GMs.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Joker is going to make people happy. It's not his fault he's 215. You know, I mean,
No.
That's a little.
the way it is.
A little bit. his
So
fault.
I heard something this evening on a podcast, actually on my drive home from AJ's.
FYI, we're talking about Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, a linebacker from Notre Dame.
Yes. So I heard something on a podcast, and he fell because in his medicals they found something that flagged them relative to his ticker, his heart.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why he dropped. It scared some teams. Scared
Yeah.
enough teams to let him go to the Browns.
Yeah.
And that's scaring the Steelers.
Yeah.
And these are those things that we don't know, like we talked about when we were mock drafting, right? It's like we can only be so connected to some of this intel.
We don't know medicals. We don't know any
Yeah.
of that. We know what we see in highlight reels, and that is
Yeah.
not enough.
Yeah, all our guys went dark.
I'm not dark.
No, you're a great shining light.
Yeah, all our sources, they wouldn't give us the down low.
So we talked about Moehrig playing and playing himself into a top 20 player. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah played himself into what some considered a top 10 player, on average a top 15 player.
Yep.
And he went to 52. We're talking second round all the way to 52.
Yeah.
This is a guy that can run with wide receivers. If you said, I need you to play cornerback for like 2 plays,
Yep.
You can do that.
he can do that.
I got to tell you, fellas, crimes have been committed here.
Yeah.
They
This
have
is
been committed.
This
If
is
you want,
sincerely citizens arrest material.
if you wanted a supremely gifted physical freak to fall in the draft and enter the league with a massive chip on his shoulder, mission accomplished.
Yep.
And if you just want one prime example of why he should have been in the top, I'd say 25, because positional value just isn't there with a linebacker. Isaiah Simmons sort of broke that mold, but that guy is 2 inches taller and 10, 15 pounds heavier. But watch him take the ball from Travis Etienne. Just take it and run in for a touchdown.
He's fun to watch. He's going to add some kind of pop in that defense, and it looks like they have a plan to use him throughout multiple schemes because they drafted a very similar guy later in the draft in Tony Fields. They play basically the same game, so that they're gonna scheme something up to where if one of those guys goes down, the other one's still there.
Yep.
They're gonna be their secondary and back seven are looking really, really tough.
Absolutely. And
Fresh,
think about this
hot.
too. Think about playing Lamar Jackson twice a year. Think about the ways they're going to use Joker
Yeah,
in regards to that.
trying to contain that speed.
Yes.
Yep.
But can he keep up with Big Ben?
I don't know.
Is
No one can.
215 big enough to take down 200 and 300 pounds?
Ben would just swat him away.
Yeah. Like
These big old
fruit
bear
fly.
paws.
Yeah.
All right, everyone collect yourselves.
For all intents and purposes, the Browns
What?
had
What
the
the
best draft.
hell happened here?
I love
what
this
in
pick.
10,000 fucks?
I kind of do
happened
too.
here?
Me and Colt are on the other side. We
Yeah,
are ecstatic.
I really like it, especially because they got Terrace Marshall in the second round. That makes it a little bit better.
Psyched up for JC Horn for the
I'm
Panthers.
grateful. I'm super grateful they got a cornerback. Cam Newton is still nursing wounds, not from last year, but from the other 10 years in his career. Because the Carolina Panthers refuse to draft offensive linemen in the first round. Not since, I don't know, fucking Ryan Khalil.
So
And he by the way, he doesn't play anymore because he's retired.
yeah. Oh, by the way, also, I think the other problem was the Panthers could not pronounce the name Patrick Surtain Jr.
Yeah, probably not.
That may have been
Surtain,
Joe Horn, by the way, not
Surtain.
happy with the coverage of his son.
Too many flip phones. Curious.
You're very curious.
It just, he might be the best. He might be better than Surtain, but at the end of the day, Surtain is nothing but the wide receiver's shadow.
Yeah.
He sees their soul. He's so close to them.
That's getting sexual. I like it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It always does with Ryan.
Yeah.
You had
Ryan,
you had
tell
Rashawn Slater sitting here, gentlemen.
I
You
did,
had
yeah.
Rashawn Slater sitting
Yeah.
here. Clearly, they care about as much about Sam Darnold as the Bengals do about the health of Joe Burrow.
Well, I wouldn't care as much about Sam Darnold's health as I do Joe Burrow's health.
Samesies.
I'm gonna look that one up in the dictionary.
Yeah.
Don't bother. It's not a word.
I'll still be searching for it, AJ.
We talked about it a couple weeks ago. Even the LA Chargers drafted an offensive tackle. There's no excuse to continue to ignore these. The Panthers are now the team that ignores offensive line.
Yep.
It was the Chargers. Now it's the Panthers.
You have a premier running back in the NFL in Christian McCaffrey, and nobody to block for him.
Yep.
He got broke last year.
He did get broke all over the field.
Yeah.
Shattered. Many pieces.
All of the Brooks.
You think he carried the ball and have too many touches in the game, though?
Probably not.
He's hell of a good player, but he's going to die. He's just going to be his longevity.
Yeah, his window is small.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful window, though.
By the way, JC Horn is also a fantastic player.
He's fabulous.
This is Joe Horn's kid. Joe Horn was a tough motherfucker.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, fabulous player. Do I think Surtain's ceiling is higher? No. Do I think his floor is higher? Yes. Surtain is going to be the more consistent pro. JC Horn's going to be the guy that gets you 8 interceptions a year and gives up, 3 touchdowns a game.
Well,
no exaggeration. This is not gratuitous overreaction. 3 touchdowns a game, bare mini.
That's my prediction.
And how did you do in fantasy football?
Not great.
He made the playoffs. It didn't start out well, but he made the playoffs.
Yeah, I was in.
By the way, Colt won. If we're keeping score at home.
Yeah.
Also, Colt,
thing,
that's 2,000 points for you for winning all those leagues.
But by the way,
damn right.
Also, you guys have the wrong Donnelly in that league.
We did. We may have to go double Donnelly in this league.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Everybody needs some double D.
Yeah. Okay. So, Dad, let's. You're in the league. Do you want 2 leagues?
Well, I don't think about the first one very much. I'll throw it in the second one.
Jump in, Mike.
That's it. Hey, but by the way, Colt,
He's got a W under his belt.
I do have a W under my belt.
Okay, I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you know what though, Colt? The win was for $300.
Okay.
I'm still in search of.
Moving on.
Oh,
yeah.
Moving on.
By the way, do you know who our commissioner of our league is?
I'm taking a shot in the dark. AJ.
Bingo.
Everyone shut up. We're moving on.
I'm gonna tell the IRS.
All right.
no.
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
This is
It's a train wreck.
this is upsetting. Colt,
Is that
what
2
is it?
J's
What
after
is?
his name?
Don't worry about that, Colt. What is it? What is it like to be around Drew Lock every day?
It's not fun. Yeah,
What is it like to see his face every day?
it's rather annoying. Yeah,
Mm.
to say the least.
Now pretend that where you work, he is essentially the head and face of your organization. Okay.
Oh,
And you have a chance to draft Justin Fields here, who could then, I guess, be the head of your restaurant.
Yes, Chef.
I'd rather have Fields any day of the week. Drew, you're cut. You're cut.
Okay,
Get outta
here, but you get Patrick Surtain. Okay, there you go.
So he's
Now,
a great pick.
make do with Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. Have fucking fun.
Yeah.
So he's now, I think, the 14th or 18th quarterback that they have. I lost track, but
They have a lot. It's
and
a
they're not
full
bad.
room.
They're good players.
Yeah, full room.
This
Yeah.
this pick is very predictable, and I mean
Yeah.
Patrick Surtain. We've already talked about. It's going to be. I mean, his
Phenomenal
floor,
player,
his
yeah.
floor is as high as most players' ceilings.
Yeah.
He should have been great in Charlotte.
He should have been great in Charlotte. He would have looked really good in black and whatever color
Whatever
blue
it
it is.
Black and sky, black and
Yeah. He's already getting porn stars sliding into his DMs.
Oh,
Dad.
You know-
Dad's going to need a little context. That was a foreign language to him.
Oh,
Boy.
the
DM?
sliding of the DMs.
Yeah.
He's getting things in his mailbox from adult film stars.
In Denver.
Notes under
Yeah.
the door.
In Denver, which is just remarkable. All right, we've already pretty much covered this. This is a great player, and they passed up on a franchise quarterback.
Yep.
2 franchise quarterbacks. We haven't even mentioned our beautiful
might-
McCorkle.
They might get Aaron Rodgers.
Do you think that they're so
just-
focused on defense in stopping Mahomes?
Vic
That might
Fangio.
be Ryan. To your point, real quick, if they get Aaron Rodgers, John Elway can go fuck himself.
Yeah.
lucking into another all-time great
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peyton
to
Manning and Aaron
to
Rodgers.
save his stupid job.
Yep.
Yeah. There were some whispers in the bush of Rodgers having interest in Las Vegas today.
Yeah. I saw John Elway in the tunnel at Lucas Oil Stadium, probably, I don't know, 8 years ago. You think he has big teeth on TV. That gentleman's chompers are large.
Chiclets.
Yeah, Chicklets.
Lots of
They keep him in
Yeah.
one of those Hannibal Lecter masks.
Yeah, he was wearing an $8,000 suit. He had a big old lip of skull in there. Giant teeth out there.
Perfect.
Handsome fella.
Yeah.
This is tradition. They had Champ Bailey. They've had Talib, and then Chris Harris.
Yeah.
This is tradition to have great cornerback play.
Yep.
So this fits. And you know what? Maybe John Elway was seeing the writing on the wall in Green Bay, and he's like, you know what? I'm pretty sure the Packers are gonna just
Totally fuck this up.
I think they're gonna dick Aaron Rodgers all over the place, and then he's gonna want out of there. I
can
don't
offer him-
imagine that he was that well thought out, but
Nah.
I hope this doesn't fall into his lap again. That would just be tragic.
John Elway seems like a serious, hey, it's all going to work out kind of guy. That'll be all right.
Okay,
Yeah,
everyone shut
yeah.
up. Oh, God.
Wonderful.
I'm so torn.
I'm gonna have to turn my video off and take my pants off.
Yeah, me too. I'll see you guys
I'm
later.
speechless from here on.
Yeah. Just look at that. Look at that body.
Poster child for long sleeve shirts.
Look at the transformation. For reference, there's 4 pictures of the famous McCorkle with Stogie Sans shirt. In the center, there's a mock-up of him in a Patriots uniform, which is the problem here, is that we are looking at 15 more years of irritation coming out of the New England area.
And we sort of have to be sort of New England Patriots fans now.
Which is not palatable at all.
I don't like that.
My palate doesn't like it.
I didn't like saying it.
No.
Ryan didn't like saying it.
No. I like saying most things.
He loves talking, and he didn't like to talk this.
And now we're going to have to feel and experience this for years to come.
Look, I've watched some video of him. He seems like a great guy. He was doing one of those quarterback things that John Gruden to do. And
with Herbie.
Yeah, it was Herbie. That's right. Yeah. And he sounds like a great guy. The problem is he's now the crown prince and already been knighted to the Hall of Fame. I'm not so sure that magic is still left in New England.
Hey, look at that body. Look at that body.
Josh McDaniels is still there. That is what really matters.
Whisperer.
That dude is so smart.
He's a conjurer.
I think the issue is becoming is they're having hard times attracting people now.
The Conjuring 4, Josh McDaniels.
Yeah. I agree, Mike. They can't get those big personalities that a lot of these receivers have these days. And you know, who's he going to throw the ball to at this point? Bunch of tight ends.
Yeah, you can get away. You can get away with it when you were the GOAT.
Also, they're getting some of their opt-outs back and some of the injuries back. When that O-line is healthy, it's top 5 minimum.
And their defense, when all of their defensive players are all there, Dante Hightower, Patrick Chung, and those guys, they're good.
And they let a lot of those guys from the Super Bowl team leave and get big contracts, let them run out, and bring them back into the fold on defense. Kyle Van Noy being prime.
The last thing I heard was Chung hung it up.
He did hang it up. You're right.
Chung hung it up, but that doesn't. The McCourties are still back there, and they've drafted very well at the cornerback position, as is tradition for Bill Belichick.
I'm with Rhino. I think Chung was a key player back there.
Yeah, he was.
He was, but you still got Stephon Gilmore had a down season, but
we actually mocked
last cornerback.
I mocked Trevon Moehrig there because of the Patrick Chung influence. I mocked Moehrig there because I think he's that kind of player.
Makes sense.
If I remember correctly, Javon Holland, did he make it there?
No.
Well,
their second round pick was Barmore.
That's right.
And then they got Ronnie Perkins.
Ron Perkins.
My biggest question.
A Ryan favorite, by the way. Go ahead, Cole.
Yes.
Is McCorkle the day one starter?
Yeah. No, he's not. No, he's not.
Yeah,
I kind of don't think so either. Cam, he's quite a diva, as we know. He's said, "I'm not a backup quarterback."
They quit playing like one.
It's a match made in purgatory. I never understood.
Yeah, me either. I don't really know why they re-signed him. I guess a reserve goal line back. I'm not sure, but I'd like to see McCorkle start day one. I don't know if he will.
Cam Newton is not going to be pleased.
He is not.
He's probably typing wingdings as we speak.
I love wingdings.
He can go catch up with our boy from Green Bay on the other team he's going to go to.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Hey, Aaron, let's go to Houston together.
Let's go touch
Great,
dicks
great,
in
boss.
Houston.
Hey.
Great, but I want to start. Yeah, me too. Okay, I guess I'll see you there. All right, that's enough.
Yeah, take that down.
So this is a breakdown of the NFL draft by the numbers. We had 5 quarterbacks go in the first round.
Yep.
That's big stuff. That's making moves. No defensive tackles, no safeties going in the first round. 6 Alabama players went in the first round.
The one thing I noticed about the draft this go around is New Orleans drafted another quarterback under 6 feet. But do we know who he is, AJ?
We do know who he is.
Go Irish.
Yeah, go
in the
Irish.
4th round. Do you guys think 4th round is a little high for Mr. Book?
By
Too
about
high,
three,
too
by
low,
about
where?
3 by about 3 rounds. It's too high.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not
I
good.
wish him all the luck, but
Me too. He's served the University of Notre Dame with every ounce of his being.
yeah.
Yes, he did. Final Alabama player taken in the draft. The Panthers selected Tommy Fletcher, long snapper for the Crimson Tide.
A delightful young man, I would assume.
Yes. Didn't believe that Matt Rule actually drafted him. When Matt Rule called, he said, "Get the fuck out of here. You're actually drafting me."
So get this: 12 players from the SEC drafted in the first round.
Wow.
Unreal.
ACC and Big Ten together had 16.
Unreal.
Big 12 had none.
Yeah, well, it's because Trevon Moehrig fell. Ronnie Perkins got suspended for weed.
For the weeds.
The pot.
In the entire draft, the SEC had 65 players. The next was the Big Ten with 44.
Jesus.
The
Christ.
ACC claimed 51 until you take out Notre Dame, and now they're down to 42.
Yikes.
Which puts them 4th if you combine the group of 5 FCS in Divisions 1 and 2. Together, they have 43. Ohio State tied Alabama with 10 players selected in the draft. We had a shit ton of wide receivers and cornerbacks and a ton of offensive linemen. 10 quarterbacks went overall in the draft. Does anything stand out to any of you guys here?
The SEC dominance does. The breakdown by position was about what we expected. We knew it was going to be deep in wide receiver. We knew it was going to be deep in corner. We knew there were going to be a bunch of quarterbacks taken just because 5 were going to go in the first round. It really shows positional value.
It does. And we hold strongly to that. A lot of my influence, but we hold pretty strongly to that when we do mocks, is that positional value. 3 linebackers taken, though, none named Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Yeah.
Also, obviously, 1 tight end. We know exactly who that is. 2 running backs. Poo-poo on that. 6 for a shallow edge class. 6 edge players in the first round.
They got 34 in the whole draft. That's for a soft area for this year's draft. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Quiddy Pay fell a bit.
Didn't have a lot of cream on top, but it was relatively deep. It looks like
it was chunky where it counted.
Buttermilk.
All right, everyone, shut up again. Dad, time to face the music. It's the pronunciation game. Words Evan can't say. This is the Notre Dame edition. You're getting a little bit of a different list of names than most. So let's start out.
Oh, yeah, that's the dude from Clemson. You guys talked on DJ Scratch My Nuts.
Yeah.
DJ
Agunglier.
Evan would call him DJ Agunglier. That is not how you pronounce it. Ryan?
Owusu-Koramoah.
Thank
Beautiful.
you much.
Crisp.
Dad, this is a defensive end for Notre Dame out of the state of Texas.
Well, he's immense.
Mensah.
Oh, he's that too. I got Nana.
That's not right.
Nope.
No, I'm terrible. I can't
That's
even come close.
Nana. Can you get the second? Can you get the first part of his last name?
You made a career in words.
No, I sold
No. He sold the words. He
I
stayed far
sold
away,
them.
far away
I
in the
can get-
editorial department.
I can
He
get
talked to them
Eskimos-
he talked to them at 6 a.m. and then let them do their business.
I got Eskimos buying ice off of me still.
Dad, can you even finish this one?
No.
What are we doing here? Can you
Hard
say the damn
pass.
name, please?
Well, first off, it is Nana.
It's not. It's Nana.
Nah.
Osifo.
Nope. Nana Osafo Mensa.
That's what said to the top of the
let's
Tuesday
just-
night at 4 in the morning.
let's burn this fucking wound before he bleeds out. Nana Osafo Mensa.
Carterize.
Yeah, and he's a Notre Damer.
All right, this is number 35, and his beautiful hair. You may have seen him flying around at the
Yeah.
linebacker position.
Yeah, Marist.
Yep. And what now?
He's number 35. He's got a long flowing hair.
He is. Can you play by the rules, please?
Louisville?
That's damn close. I'll take
Yep.
it. Leofau.
Oh,
I think I spelled
Those are
that.
in the wrong direction.
Yeah, that's spelled wrong. That's my bad. Okay, moving on. Good fucking
It
luck.
happens. It happens.
oh, Jesus. This is Aiden Conopoli.
That is.
Yep, there's definitely a P in that.
Mhm. There's no P's anywhere
Oh.
to be found.
Uh,
At least 3 shakes when he's done.
let's see. It's Kina Nina.
Inaina?
Yep, that's it. Kinaina. Aiden Kinaina.
Mike, that was a
Massive-
wild guess from me too, bud.
Massive, I think that's right. Massive nose tackle for Notre Dame out of Hawaii. Go figure.
You know, this reinforces the broken clock rule.
I don't know what the fuck.
Gotta
that
be
means.
right at least
How-
twice.
what does that mean? Okay.
Gotta be right at
All
least
right.
twice.
This name is not Samoan or Hawaiian. Can you get it, Dad? This is a tight end, Notre Dame's second tight end this year, at least as it stands right now.
Is this a Grecian name?
That's what I'm thinking.
As far as I know, he lives in America.
Okay.
They only took Irish people up there.
George Takis.
I will take us that. It's George Takis.
Takis, that's right.
Just a bit outside.
All right. We're back to Hawaiian and Samoan names.
Oh, yeah, that's Jason and Justin. It's Amendola.
Yeah.
That's Jason and Justin Adamiola.
See?
The starting Jason is the starting
That's what he said.
defensive tackle. It's not what he said. That's
Listen
their
to
starting
Danny.
defensive tackle, and their backup strong side end is Justin. Great job, Dad, as always.
Yeah. I'm nailing this.
All right, this is our
Oh, God.
starting strong side end. This
Yeah.
is Tua's first cousin, who definitely thinks he's better.
Might be.
So Myron Tagovailoa Omasu.
Hey, he had a hint too that it was to his cousin, so it could have
and it still went off the rails pretty quick.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I
Didn't-
can't remember how he
didn't quite get there.
It sounded like this. It sounded like Myron.
Yeah, it was someone like that.
Your
Yeah,
audio
guys.
cut out.
Guys,
Yeah.
you have to know, I grew up in the age where Al McGuire came out and created Coach K for a
Mhm.
reason.
You couldn't pronounce Krzyzewski.
They couldn't
Yeah.
pronounce Krzyzewski. And so Coach K became famous. And, you know, me and Al, we were tight.
Right.
So this is Myron Tagovailoa Amosa, first cousin of Tua, and Notre Dame's former starting defensive tackle, now starting strong side defensive end in Marcus Freeman's new defense.
Is
Y'all
this
don't-
over yet?
Y'all don't give a shit. Clearly, Dad doesn't, so let's move on. All right, this is a true freshman running back. Clearly, it's on this list, so things are not as they seem.
So it's Audric Estimate.
Yep, bingo. One try. Well done. Just like the rest
Wonderful,
of them. One
wonderful.
try.
By the way, when I said that, there was a T at the end of that, Estimate. You guys are not hearing me.
Moving on.
By the
This
way,
is a safety that never plays. Had a pretty good spring game for the Irish. Had some big hits down by the red zone. Dad?
oh, it's Rothschild Avalon.
Yes.
All right, that's Litchfield Vaughn. And I don't even know if that's correct. So, Dad, last one. I need you to focus and sound this one out loud.
Dig
okay?
deep.
Dig deep. Last but not least.
That's what his name is, last but not least.
Yeah, that's his first name. I need his middle and last
Oh,
name.
God. I would say it's Ishad Misery.
Give it another try. First name
Oh,
was
it's
right.
Ishad. Remember him? He was Ishad.
Ishad. What's the last name there?
Mazel tov. I think
Mike,
you guys
he's trying to get you to say I shad myself.
Ryan, that is absolutely disgusting. Ryan needing yet another change during podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. This is probably the nicest my son's ever treated me, I want you guys to know.
We get you on camera. It's
all right.
good.
Congratulations to this episode's winner of football. Your name listed here. Dad, your name will be listed there. It'll never actually go up here, but congratulations. 100 million points to you. For taxes, I'm going to need about half that back, though.
Yeah. And AJ, you don't spell my name nobody.
Oh, yeah.
Last week's winner was Nobody. Fabulous movie just came out. Highly recommended. Great movie. The great Bob Odenkirk of Better Call Saul fame. Fabulous movie. He was last week's winner.
Bob Odenkirk.
Nobody.
Yep.
Friend of the show.
Tagliova.
Yeah.
Tagliova.
And Ungunglier.
Yeah.
All strong listeners to the Shall We Football podcast, much like you strong folks who made it through that episode. You can find and subscribe to the Shall We Football podcast on any major podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, Google. Every episode of the Shall We Football podcast also available in video format on YouTube alongside other content. So subscribe, press the notification bell to be alerted every time we upload. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at SWF_podcast. That is at SWF_podcast, and also follow Mike on Twitter at I Lost My Keys. That is at I Lost My Keys. Thanks for listening, folks. Good night.